Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today in our People of Pickleball episode, we're speaking with owner of the Kansas City Stingers from the National Pickleball League, Daryl Wyatt. He's part of the ownership team for Kansas City. He owns a facility in Kansas City as well for tennis and pickleball. And we talk about the Stingers' upcoming season. He's a former pro tennis player, so he's got a lot of racket skill background, and he'll be a player/owner in the 2024 season. But before we get to that, if you like this content, consider subscribing. Check out all the links in the description. Tons of discounts on paddles and all types of apparel and you name it, everything under the pickleball umbrella. Check out our newsletter as well. All right, folks, let's get to that interview with Daryl Wyatt from the Kansas City Stingers. Okay, hey, we are here with Daryl Wyatt of the Kansas City Stingers, one of the new teams in the National Pickleball League for 2024, and he is part of the ownership team, and he is playing as well this season. So welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report, Daryl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to having a nice little talk today.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into all the, the NPL and the new franchise and all the really cool, exciting things coming up in 2024, obviously, I've read a little bit about you. You have an incredibly high level of tennis background, high racket skill. So talk about how a wiffle ball game came in and it took over parts of your life.
It is interesting, so, and how deep those tennis roots run in so many tennis players. But so I was pretty staunch tennis. I had played pickleball a time or two, maybe a few years back, and literally a time or two. And then I bought a club, a tennis pickleball club in Leawood, Kansas. Okay. So, but I was still coaching tennis. So as I do now, I was still coaching tennis, and that was kind of what pickleball was an afterthought. I knew there were there were pickleball lines for courts, but to me, I was still in that I'm a tennis guy, and that's pretty much where it stands. So, but over time, and seeing and kind of the club was kind of on its way back up. We kind of were the injection to bring it back up. So over that time, and as I learned more about people and really tried to bring people in to play pickleball, first, just the people, it was refreshing. You see so many friendships made and so many people that group up, and that's now their new friend group. And that kind of really noticed, because I was still a little bit torn on the mini tennis kind of thing. It's kind of a mini tennis. So I was still torn, but it was a great thing. And just watching people play, and then people would come off and ask if I played pickleball, and I started feeling foolish being the club owner, not playing pickleball. So I jumped out there and I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to start playing. And literally within the first 3 times I was hooked. That was it. And I kind of, each time I was ready for the next time. At the end of each practice, okay, and I knew at that point when I was looking forward to the next time I would play, I knew it was kind of something. So I just continued to play, and it helps having that tennis background. Now you have to learn, now it hurts us as well, but it helps in some respect having a tennis background. So, you're somewhat proficient and able to do it, just learning the strategies and changing that. But then all of a sudden, I found myself at the end of the day, what am I going to do? Play tennis or pickleball? And more I was playing pickleball. So that's kind of how my evolution into pickleball began.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's a classic story. Yeah, so obviously it's one thing to play high-level tennis, professional level stuff, own a club, have the skill set that you have, which is immense compared to most people that play any sport, let alone a high-level sport that requires some technicalities that tennis does. But then it's another thing to buy a pro team. So talk about the I guess the journey between like, okay, this is fun. I'm playing this. I run a club. I own a club, and I'm learning how to play. And then like, I think I'm going to invest in not only just a professional team, but like a 50 plus, which most people go, huh? Like there's
Right.
a 50 plus league, and then you're like, yeah, and I own a team. Talk about that journey.
Exactly. You're so right. When you say 50 plus, they don't get it. It doesn't register at first, and then you have to kind of explain it to them. But that journey, so Jen Gowis and David George, who both played in the league last year, super lovely people.
I love them. Yeah,
they taught a clinic at my club.
Okay.
And just in the midst of our conversations, how we started talking about the NPL, and the league had just finished at that time. So they had just finished championship weekend, and they were talking about how much fun it was. And so initially they were giving me information about the combine just to try out and see if I could make the combine. That's where this whole thing started. And they talked so highly of it, and rightfully so, because we've had a great experience thus far. But so I signed up for the combine. Now, it took a while for them to announce the dates. Then I signed up for the combine.
Right.
But once the dates for the combine came out, and I was talking to him, there was the whole idea of, well, there may be a team available for sale for this year. So I said, oh, that would be great. And I went back to my partner, and I was like, my couple partners, and was like, hey, well, we are building a new facility, and it would be great to go with the new facility. Why don't we just, wow, there's a team available. It would be great. It would serve each component's purpose. And so we kind of started talking and talking to Michael and Rick and Beth, and we realized that more and more that we would like to do it. Now, at the same time, there was a potential that we would have had to do it the following year because of just a team that may have gotten in ahead of us. Yeah. But we were ready, and then so the more we talked about it, the more we kind of looked into it a lot deeper and saw, this is something that we might want to do. So I asked a couple partners, and we're actually building a facility right now.
Exciting.
In another part of Kansas City, and we're partnering. So I asked that partner from that facility and the partner from and another partner, and they said, yeah, let's do it. So here we are. Now we are the Kansas City Stingers. I
love it. I mean, obviously you're in an area that has a really dynamic and rich story sports background. I mean, Kansas City's no joke. And so, there are expectations. So, like when you got into this, and you're thinking of obviously, the team name and the color scheme and how you want to be part of the community, the larger community, not just be a franchise that, exists, obviously. So talk a little bit about those steps, about, kind of getting yourself to be involved with the community itself and how you came up with some of the ideas for that.
Okay. So once we really got our heads around and kind of got up to speed, because we were one of the later teams to join the league. Well, actually, we were the last team to join the league.
Okay.
So as we got caught up to, some of the other meetings that had taken place, and then we were very fortunate. We got a great team. We've got a great girl, Danielle, who does our marketing, and another wonderful girl, Livy, who does our sponsorships, who handles our sponsorships. So what we did was sat down, and I told them, okay, and we talked, and this is what we'd kind of like to do, and how we'd like to reach out to the community, and what kind of programs we'd like to do, and events we'd kind of do. And then really what they did was, just from a marketing standpoint, more so started out first before sponsorship. So from a marketing standpoint, she started, setting up events or setting up interviews where we could get our message out. And once we started getting out our message and what we're trying to do, the community kind of came back and responded tenfold. They were very supportive, and they were offering ideas. So it was kind of a great give back and forth in terms of what we could do, and people were willing to help. So it's been that kind of sparked it off once we got a little bit of coverage, and people knew once they got over a 50-year, a senior pickleball team, once they got past that, and then they started understanding, and we get people still. We announced it maybe just a few months ago, and we're still getting people calling interested in how can we help? Do you need volunteers? And we get so many calls of that, which that is the most important, because then you know the community's behind you. People asking, can we help?
Right.
Can we just be involved? Do you need any help here, or we can help here, or if you need some extra practice or X, Y, and Z. Any people are just very supportive of us in this community.
Yeah, absolutely. And once they, I think, in my belief, once they get a taste of the product itself, like
Yep.
you did and like I
Yep.
did, and once they see what this league really is and what it represents in the people, in the teams, and the energy that comes with NPL, I mean, I think you're going to have the floodgates open, and you haven't even shown them the product yet on the floor. And so pretty exciting for it, because you know what's coming.
Exactly,
but the people involved don't necessarily know. And they think they're at a level now with, the Kansas City Stingers. But once they see them on the floor with the uniforms and all the professionalism and the hype behind it, I mean, man, I think you've hit a home run, and people are just starting to realize it.
I think so. People more and more, and we're fortunate that we got to draft another guy from Kansas City on the team. So that also, which is our goal. We'd like to, we had we hosted a combine, but scheduling issues, we would have maybe had another or two more on the team, but at least that's our goal, to kind of have that so that we can have continual events for kids and continual programs and clinics and things of that nature, so we can just expose more people to. So having myself and Stan Perry, who's on our team, live here, then that makes it a lot easier. And then our team has been great. We've talked to a lot of people, and they're willing to come in and help out with clinics and help out with events. So we're very fortunate. We got a great bunch of people that have offered help and are willing to help out in that respect.
Yeah, obviously you have David George, who you mentioned earlier, and you have a Hall of Famer, Jen Dawson. I mean,
oh my gosh, superstar. And it's interesting being. I have yet to meet her face to face, but I can only imagine, because her name precedes her. I know, I feel like I know her, yet I've never shaken her hand. But because of how well she's done and how much of an ambassador to the sport, even as a newcomer, I know who she is. So I'm we're extremely excited and honored that we've got her on the team. And you know what? Also, we'll be able to learn so much from someone with such vast knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. And she is somebody who has also taken a club that was built for tennis with her and her husband, and has transitioned to pickleball. So she's probably have a lot in common with you about, obviously, she's got an extensive tennis background as well, and be owning a club and having pickleball involved. So y'all have a lot to talk about.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Opening weekend in Chicago, I'm excited.
Woo! I'm in right around the corner. So let's talk about that. You got some. Obviously, we don't have to talk about what expectations as far as wins and losses. It's season one for y'all. You're getting going and you're excited. But let's talk about some of the things you're really looking forward to with the upcoming season. Being a new team in the league.
I'm looking forward to. So I've gone back and looked at some of last year's matches.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to really, and I was just thinking that as we began talking, I'm looking forward to walking in the arena for the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a different feeling, and it'll be a different sensation. And like you said, the way that they set the event up and the professionalism, it's like something you got to think. We're 50 years old. When does that, golf has a senior tour, but when does that really happen for people, for athletes our age?
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen so much. So I think that's going to be a really neat feeling. So I'm looking forward to that. But then also, more importantly, I'm looking forward to being at the venue with all of the teams, because
Yes.
you get to meet people over this process of the draft and the 2 combines and this, and you meet people and they're all on different teams. So it's going to be nice to have everyone in one place kind of battling it out. And it has been a long build up. I'm excited to play. I'm ready to go.
I bet you are. I mean, and you got some
I'm ready
skills,
to
so
go.
it's gonna be really cool to see you play. And obviously, with your the team you own and the uniforms you've designed and all that stuff. And like you mentioned earlier, you have really joined a community that in pickleball, it's a very unique community. One, 50 plus, but two, 50 plus pro champion tour players. I'm like really the only sort of a brand that kind of covers just seniors. And I tell people all the time that the community that the senior pros have built is unique because they play hard. They are unbelievably talented. They can do a lot of things in the court. I always tell people, go see it live, because if you're standing next to
Right.
somebody that's playing at that level, oh my God. And then to hang out afterwards and to chill and relax
Right.
and enjoy each other's company and be on the road together. It's sort of like a rock tour. And you get to do cool things. And like you mentioned, play a game that everybody loves, that's exploding. And it's sort of like, you've got, all of you have done amazing things in your lives already. This is the bonus. This is,
Right.
you're having fun. And it sort of takes the pressure off a little bit, because you're like, man, I'm playing pro ball at 50 plus, and I'm playing with all these cool people that are doing the same thing.
Exactly. And the NPL does it very well. They I believe it's Friday night there's a party.
Yeah.
And everyone gets together, and that kind of exemplifies, and that shows the kind of feel and camaraderie you have around the event, around the teams and around the league. That kind of shows that, because everywhere I've gone, I just came from a tournament in Dallas and I saw people that I saw at a combine, and we were like, hey, how are you doing?
There you go.
It just creates that, and it breeds that. So it's going to be super refreshing.
Yeah.
Especially coming from a tennis background. Now, don't get me wrong, I love tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis I played forever, but it's a different feel. It's got a different feel to it than your tennis background, because it's a different sport, needless to say, but deeper than that. You get a lot of tennis players coming over, but still there's a different air to the tennis that you don't get in pickleball.
I would agree 100%. I played a lot of beach volleyball. That was my sport before I came into pickleball. I played 25 years. I didn't play pro. I played some qualifiers, but you're right. This is a whole different animal. I try to explain it to people, but it's like until you sort of jump in and play and then hang out, I just don't know how to explain it, other than it's the most communal sport I've ever touched and played. And I played a lot of sports in my life, but this is like, and then what's happening with the game on a global scale, as obviously you're part of this. It's I don't know what's going on, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know what this is.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but you're right. It's just one of those things that you try to explain, and you try to, I do videos on it, and I talk to people like yourself up on it. And then, like, once somebody picks up a paddle and goes out there, or they play a tournament, or they show up to rec play, or whatever it happens to be, that's usually the shift, and it happens pretty quick. I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live off grid. There's some dilapidated tennis courts that were built in the early 70s that are full of tar and cracks and ants. And we get 20 people out there 2 days a week hitting balls. And the closest town is like 30 miles from us. So it's happening everywhere in the middle of nowhere even.
Hey, and I was overseas over the Christmas holiday, and when I was they had maybe 1 day of pickleball in that city. 1 day of pickleball. This was Christmas. Now in May, they have every day of the week they have pickleball, and not just one session, but several sessions. So that's a testament. And then you can go anywhere and you'll see someone have lines up on a tennis court everywhere I go.
Yeah.
outside. There's lines up, so you can see. I mean, the growth is insane.
Yeah. The growth's insane, and the enthusiasm is insane, and the money being injected to this game is next level. Because I was a young kid when tennis really hit hard, and then racquetball hit really hard, and then beach volleyball hit really hard, but nothing like this. I mean, you could take all of those and combine them, and I've never seen anything like this. And I can't explain it on some levels, but I don't really need to, I guess, because we get to experience it every day, and to have conversations like this with somebody whom I would have never met.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to get to meet in person because I'm going to be in Kansas City for the PickleCon event, so I'll get to meet you in person and cheer on the Stingers.
Oh, you'll have to give me a call because we'll go out and grab some barbecue.
There we go. Now we're talking.
There we'll go. And just to piggyback on one of your points, just seeing the growth now, and just when I hear people say, is it a fad, or is it a trend, or is it this or that? The amount of growth that is still left to happen it's mind blowing.
It is.
It's really mind blowing. Just the areas that are now beginning to touch onto pickleball, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what people don't realize that even if there was no pro game, or the pro game just never took off, or whatever happens, there are so many amateurs that have no idea there's even pro ball.
Exactly.
That it wouldn't even matter. Like, that's how many people play this game.
Exactly. That's a testament of how, that's so true. They don't even know. I talk to people still at the club, and they have no idea about PPA or any of that, but they still play every day, and they bring a friend. They're always bringing a friend. And that's something. That's really, you're so right about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to watching your team grow and bond and have an incredible first season, because you can never replace the first season. Like you mentioned, walking into that arena the first time, that is a moment to cherish, because it's never going to happen again. And that feeling you will have. So good for you. Congratulations. Player, owner, Daryl Wyatt, Kansas City Stingers. And you can find all the links in the description and follow the Stingers, wear their gear and support the team. And I always say, get out there and watch NPL in person, because it's next level. You can watch it on live stream or TV, but when you're there, man, you can see the talent.
Oh, yes. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. All right. Thank you for your time, sir. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Daryl. Check out all the links in the description for the National Pickleball League. Get out there and cheer on the Kansas City Stingers this season. And hey, at the end of the day, let's pickle.